Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Murli, and I'm a AWS Solution Architect. So today we will look into the Amazon Inspector. So what is Amazon Inspector? AWS Inspector. It is an automated security assessment service provided by the AWS, and it automatically scans the resources in AWS environments such as EC2 instances, ECR, your containers, your Lambda functions, or for any software vulnerabilities, and unintended network exposure. So it provides automated security assessments of applications and resources inside the AWS environments, right? And identifies any potential security weaknesses such as insecure network connections, the configurations or vulnerable software components across EC2 instances, and the Lambda functions or container images. So one of the key features of AWS Inspector is that it can identify vulnerabilities even when the new change are made in the environment. Okay. So we will look into that in a demo, and you can go through this Amazon Inspector. So you will get a free 15-day trial for all the accounts that are new to the Amazon Inspector. So make sure you turn it off when you are done with your assessment for this demo, and if you want to use, then go ahead and feel free to use it. But remember, there is a pricing associated with the Amazon Inspector. So how does this work? It basically scans your EC2 and in Lambda functions, as we have discussed, and you can see we will try and find any vulnerabilities, and also it can work on wide variety of AWS services like as we have discussed, like EC2, Lambda containers, and etc. And there you go, and go ahead and use this Amazon Inspector if you want to assess any vulnerabilities. Okay, and I've already logged into my account, like you see here, and I have my inspector. Let's see, let's type Amazon Inspector here and click on the Amazon Inspector like so. Okay, let's click on get started, and it's not activated yet. Okay, so we will go ahead and activate it, and you can also see this message, right? You're on a 15-day trial, so make sure you are in that, otherwise you will have pricing in your account. So what I will do first, let's go to EC2 and launch the instance, and we will leave some security vulnerabilities like allowing the FTP port and something like that. Launch instance, and I'm gonna name this my EC2 instance, and I'm gonna choose Linux. I think there's a new addition to the family which is 2023 AMI, but I'm gonna stick with the older one for now. I think you can go ahead and experiment if you would like to, and I'm choosing t2.micro, and I'm gonna create a new key pair which is my Linux instance, and create a key pair, and there you go, you have now created a my Linux key pair. And now let's go ahead and click on edit in network security, network settings, and you can launch this security group, something called EC2 C2 findings, and go ahead and copy this name and replace this with the launch wizard 1. And we have already the SSH in our security group, but we're gonna add a couple of other custom TCP, which is a port 21, which is an FTP one, and also allow from anywhere. This is a security vulnerability which you're opening FTP, and click on add another security group, which is again TCP, and open up 23. We're just opening some security groups so that you should be able to find the inspector should be able to find these open vulnerabilities, right? So that's the whole point why we are opening these security groups. Okay, custom 23 should be anywhere, and that's it. I think you should be good for now. Let's go ahead and launch the instance. Okay, now that you have launched the instance, and go ahead and click on view all instances, so your instance is actually running. Let's give it a second. We will also install the inspector agent, so that our agent will continuously run in our EC2, find out if there is any security vulnerabilities. Okay, so now that your instance is launched, click on connect and go to SSH client, copy the command which is chmod 400 Linux. So we are just giving a permission here. Go to your terminal and just paste this command. Because I've downloaded my security key in downloads, you'll have to do the same thing, and run this command over there. So I'm going to give permissions and copy the SSH command over here and run it. Okay, just gonna maximize this. Alright, type yes. There you go, you are now connected to your Linux instance. Okay, just click ls, so you're now perfectly connected to your EC2 instance. Alright, so what we're gonna do next is go to your EC2 instance and run few commands to install the EC2 in the AWS Inspector. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, let me log in as root. Okay, so I've logged in as root user, and then I'm gonna run lnx command, which is wget and paste this URL. So I'm gonna link that in the description box below. Just copy this URL and hit run. So you should be able to download the inspector agent. Okay, and once you've installed, and then you'll have to run once you have downloaded, what you're gonna do is sudo bash install. So we are going to run our downloaded install agent, the inspector agent, and we are now have completed installing our AWS agent. Okay, alright, and then what we're gonna do is, our agent is actually running in our EC2 instance. So what we're gonna do is, we will go back to the console and type inspector over here, Amazon Inspector, and here what we're gonna do, see it is just giving you a message that you are in a 15-day free trial. So make sure you are in that if you're trying the Amazon Inspector. Otherwise you're gonna have the billing. So you can go to usage to find out what is the pricing on the AWS Inspector. So let's close the other window, and now let's click on get started, and let's activate the inspector. By default this is disabled, and now click on activate inspector. It takes a while. We will also look into how we gonna enable or disable the Amazon Inspector in the using the CLI. Okay, so first let's look into the UI part, and then we will also discuss about creating or enabling or disabling the inspector from the CLI. Okay, so now that you have created your inspector, you can see the summary of dashboard. Ignore the feedback for now, cancel. So you can see the summary, and you will see that our inspector is actually running in the background. So you can see that just close these notifications. There are too many notifications over here, and go to findings. So you can see by instance and by container image, it starts scanning right then and there. As you activate the inspector, you can see there is nothing critical at the moment, but it is actually, let's make sure that whether it is running or not. Click on account and management. Your EC2 scanning is activating. It is not activated yet. Okay, there you go, it is now activated. And now click on instances. There's no instances which are running. Clear filters. So let's drag this a bit. So you can see this is my A/B testing Lambda functions. As we discussed, right, we have the inspector will actually run scans on the your Lambda functions, your container images, your EC2 instances. So it's basically giving you the status of the scanning and not scanning items. So you can see container repositories, container images, Lambda functions. It scans pretty much everything in your account, right? And now click on the scanning. You can see that it is being scanned, pending initial scan, and not scanning. There are two other items which are not being scanned yet, but it's going to be picking up those not scanning items in a couple of minutes maybe, or by the go back to your dashboard. You can see your Lambda functions are being scanned and instances are not being scanned yet. So it's going to take a while, and then it's going to scan it. Okay, So let's leave this at this point of time. So what I'm going to do is go back to your Inspector Classic. So you can see this link, right, and click on this link. You can see the classic version of Amazon Inspector. Okay, click on Get Started and click on Cancel here, because we don't want to do anything over here. Just click on Cancel. So what I will do is, on the legacy version of Inspector, what we will do is go to assessment targets. So there is no assessment target yet, so let's go ahead and create assessment target. So what is assessment target? It represents a collection of AWS resources that helps to accomplish your business goals. So basically it will allow you to scan your EC2 instances like that. Okay, so we will simply name this as demo, and then include all the EC2 instances account region. Okay, click on save and click OK. So it's now has created a inspector assessment target. So what we will do is go to assessment templates and create an assessment template like so, and EC2 scan target name is going to be my demo, and rule packages allow network reachability, security, best practices, common. You can choose whatever you would like. So basically it is trying to, this is all the packages where you can allow network reachability, security, best practices, common vulnerabilities. There's a set of rules defined in these packages, so I'm going to apply all this to my scan. Okay, so duration I'm going to just put 15 minutes. 1 hour is going to be too much, and I'm just going to give 15 minutes. And you can also create SNS topics if you want. Once the scan is complete, you can receive the messages. You can also attach tags, but for now just go ahead and create it. Okay, let's go ahead and create it, and there you go. We have now created and collapse this expandable panel and select this EC2 scan and run it. Okay, the assessment run started. So it's going to take about 15 minutes. Okay, click on the assessment runs on the left side panel, and you can see it started collecting the data from our EC2 scan. And expand this, it's going to take a while. Show the status. You can see the demo has started, has been analyzing demo for 15 seconds right now. So if you refresh it, it's going to take, after 15 minutes you will be able to see what's going on in the and you will find the results reports here, and you can also download the reports in HTML and PDF formats, and you can see what are the critical and medium and low security risks that you have with your EC2 instances, also with your Lambda functions, also with your container images. You can see all those in the report that is being generated here. So we're going to wait for it to generate, but meanwhile what I can do is I will go back to the version 2. So you can see it's not started yet, and this is the Lambda functions are being scanned, and click on you can see there is code detectors of Lambda scanning. So you can see there is something already found. Affected instance 1. Let's go ahead and let's find out all the findings. Okay, let me open up my terminal. Okay, so we have already logged into my EC2 instance. I'm gonna exit from here for now, and what I will do is I've already configured my AWS credentials. If you haven't configured your credentials, you're gonna do AWS configure and paste your access ID, access key and password, but for now I'm gonna exit it because I've already done it. So how do you create your access key? So basically you go to your user security credentials, and click on if you scroll down in my security credentials, you can scroll down and access key. So this is what I'm using it. So I have already generated my access keys, so you'll have to create an access key here, and then you're gonna run the AWS configure and copy paste your access keys and access secret passwords. Okay, and once you're done with it, so I'm gonna run something called AWS Inspector to list findings. So this will actually give you all the findings of your, okay, let me just check this note. WCLI version 2, latest version of it is now stable and recommended for general use. So I believe I'm using the latest one, but I think let's wait for some time. I'm gonna exit from the EC2 instance. Okay, and let's run AWS Inspector 2 and then list findings. Okay, so I'm gonna list if there are any findings. So there you go, you have one finding so far, or maybe just hit space. I can see there are a lot of findings, so in the security scan. So you can also see the recommendation after the scan, right? So you can see that the finding was user controllable input was sanitized, must be sanitized before it's included in the output use dynamically generated web page. Unsanitized user input can introduce the cross-site scripting attacks that can lead to running malicious code in your trusted context. Okay, so basically what you're saying is I have a lambda function which which creates a pseudo random generators, pseudo random numbers, which is actually creating an issue here. So our inspector is actually suggesting us or recommending us to to not use this, and sanitize your input value so that it will be it cannot lead you to the cross-site scripting attacks. Okay, so that is one finding, and this is another finding. See, this is my EC2 instance, which is having a port range of 21 to 21, is reachable from the internet gateway, which is basically allowing our input traffic. This is where our traffic coming from, and we have allowed port 21, which is a security vulnerability. So it is suggesting, so let's look at the recommendation. So you can see the recommendation here. You can restrict access to your instance by modifying the security groups ACLs in the network path. So basically we need to disable the security group. Okay, we will need to disable that port. So that's what it is recommending. Okay, so this is what you can go through all the recommendations. If you have your instance, there are a lot of instances running, and you want to find out what is going on, and are you secure enough, you can use the AWS Inspector. Okay, so I'm going to quit this for now and also run another command, which is okay, let's go back to our CLI again. You can see inspector, and here you can see it is still running. Okay, and go back to your classic version of inspector, refresh here a couple of times, and findings by security level. So you have 4 findings. Okay, expand that and click on the 4 findings here. You can see all these findings here, and high, which is the network reachability. So there was an issue, as we discussed on the CLI. So there is one high severity finding, another one is this high one, which is on the instance. Again, port 23 is also associated with telnet, so it is also reachable from internet. So you're gonna make sure that this port is actually disabled in your instance. Okay, and then if you go to, there is a medium, and which is also port 22, and in the informational you can go here and see aggregate network exposure ports are reachable from the internet through this ENI and this security group. So the recommendation is you can edit the security group to remove the access from the internet. So basically that's simple it is. So you should be able to understand what's going on in here by looking at these inspector findings. Okay, go back to your new version. Here you can it feels like it's still not reporting the status. Maybe click on by instance. You should be able to see by now. Click on that instance. So you have seen the now you can see that security level of these are ports that we have seen our classic version. You can see all the recommendations and the findings over here. Okay, that's it guys, and make sure you disable this you disable the inspector because it is active right now, and so don't leave it active because it is only 15-day trial period. Okay, so you just go ahead and you will need to disable the AWS Inspector. So how are you gonna do it? Go back to your terminal, or maybe you can do it from here. Let's see if you can do it from here. Account management, instances, nope. You can go to usage, 15-day period, no. By scan type, nope. And account management, no, I don't see anywhere. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use CLI to just disable the inspector. Okay, how I'm going to do it? AWS Inspector to space. You can also just enable it by using enable -- resource types, and then you can enable it by EC2 Lambda ECR. Okay, so it's gonna enable it. I know it's already enabled, so the status returned as enabled, but now I'm gonna disable for all three of them. Okay, so just replace that with disable, like so, and now there you go. It is now turn the status to disabling, and if you go back to your terminal and see, everything got disabled, and now you're back to the activity inspector. And don't forget to terminate your EC2 instance. Let's go to EC2, click on the EC2, click on the instance running, and just select this instance, drop down, terminate instance, and terminate. So that's it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe my videos, and please comment down below if you have any questions. And thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you guys in the next video.